What's up, guys, and welcome to the 2025-2026 NFL Fantasy All-Star League season. Today, I'm just going to go over people's drafts, essentially, and how I feel about the matchups in our divisions. So, starting in the Dirty Dancing division, we have Sack Sparrow, Rammy Rams, and the Oracle. This might be a little tough for newcomer Sack Sparrows, as Rammy Rams and Oracles normally make playoffs and have been in the league for a long time. The Oracle is a past champion and finished second place last year, so that's an interesting division where the Oracle might end up on top, but Rammy Rams is pretty close, but I don't know what to expect out of Sack Sparrow. We got, in the outsiders, Red Zone Rennie, Brad's B Squad, and Bullet Club Elite. This might be Rennie's best chance to make playoffs this year and maybe go pretty deep. As you can see, he's already made 3 moves. Hopefully he makes another 3, and then half his team gets injured and he removes the waiver cap. But I doubt that's going to happen. Moving on to the Roadhouse. So that's my division. Taylor Swift as fuck. Don't know who that is, so I guess we'll see what will happen. And Tricky Mickey is actually pretty good, so he does pretty decent. I've made playoffs the last 3 years and got kicked out because I didn't start Joe Flacco, which I should have. So should be a pretty even division here. And then one of the divisions where it's going to be a battle for sure. These guys have been in the league for 2 years or more. Boss Bailey's an original member, and the roaster baiting maniacs have been in the league for quite a while as well. This will be a tough one here, but let's move on to the matchups. So we'll start with my matchup, George Pickens. I don't know why I started him. He was just out there trying to fight people as usual, trying to be Odell Beckham. He did get that awesome penalty for us, but that doesn't really help me, especially in a non-PPR league. I'm hoping to stack Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase against Cleveland. I think it'll be a shootout there with Joe Flacco slinging it everywhere. Man, these two guys could put up 50 points for me easily. Jared Goff, on the other hand, he doesn't do too well in Green Bay. I think I read in 4 games he's thrown 4 touchdowns, and he averages about 200 yards per game whenever he's at Green Bay. So that might be my saving grace. Drake London at Tampa Bay could be a high-scoring game there, and he has Michael Penix Jr. Garrett Wilson, I was told to stay away from a lot of fantasy experts because Justin Fields actually sucks and is inconsistent. Probably do a lot of tush pushing over there, so that's kind of a wild card. Zay Flowers is awesome, but obviously Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry eat up a bunch of carries. They're a run-first team. Rome Odunze has a new head coach who used to be with Detroit, and I think Chicago will do pretty well, but I honestly don't have that much faith in Caleb Williams. Saquon Barkley put up average numbers below actually what he was projected, but they were feeding him the rock. That's a great pick there. Chuba Hubbard, I'm hoping he can keep the number 1 spot. He is a little guy, but he's speedy as fuck. Coming in from Sherwood Park, Alberta, so I kind of picked him up. Kyron Williams, a workhorse. Tony Pollard doesn't have Tajay Spears back there, but he has trouble finding the end zone. Sam Laporta versus Njoku, and Njoku is actually projected to get more points because he's kind of that dark horse sleeper on every expert's draft picks. So I think he's going to pop off for like 100 yards and a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised. 80 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, honestly, he does great every year. Somehow he flies under the radar. I'm surprised Miko didn't grab him. Eckler is supposed to be the starting running back, but he is pretty old and washed, so I don't expect too much out of him. Matt Gay is gay, but not as gay as actually Harrison Butker is the farthest thing from gay. He's a hilarious guy and a great kicker. Philly defense got owned, I guess, this week. Arizona against New Orleans, so that's why I picked up that defense. I think they're going to destroy. And then when it comes to defensive players, Jesse Bates, the third, is amazing as a safety. Roquan Smith is a tackle machine, but I got a couple tackle machines as well. So right now, it's a very, very tight game. I hope Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase stack will help me run away with it, so I think I'm going to win this week. All right, so Red Zone Rennies versus Bullet Elite Club. None of their players have played. This is supposed to be a tight matchup. we have Jaden Daniels, who's amazing. He practices on 2x speed in virtual reality, and you can see it out there. He actually attributes all his running skills to flag football, which is pretty cool, and you can see it out there because he doesn't take many hits and he dances around. People like they're just trying to flag him, which is pretty crazy. Brian Thomas Jr. was insane last year, so that's a great pick for Rennie. Devontae Adams, old and I don't know, moldy? Who knows? Says he's going to get 2,000 yards this year. That's what he told Puka, but I don't think that's going to happen. Calvin Ridley. So he's the number one there in Tennessee, and they have an amazing first overall pick quarterback who's supposed to be insane. Apparently the guy's at the field at 5 a.m., holds his team accountable for everything. So that's a really good pick. I think he could put up a lot of points, especially because they only have two other receivers out there, both over 30 and 31. I think Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Tyler Lockett, who never takes any hits. So he might play forever, but we'll see. Normally after 30, the receivers kind of go downhill. Jamison Williams, the speedster who can't stay out of trouble off the field, but he's doing pretty good. I think they're going to work him into the offense there. And he stacked him with Jahmyr Gibbs, which was most likely Rennie's number one pick. And he is explosive. If he can stay healthy, he could definitely finish in the top 5 in RBs, as far as I feel. Christian McCaffrey, already questionable, so he's 1 year removed from the Madden curse, and he wasn't on the Madden cover this year, so hopefully he'll be able to do well. Jaylen Warren, not the greatest for an RB2, but he should be getting the touches to start the season. I don't know how he's going to finish. Omarion Hampton, I believe, is a rookie, but he's pretty high up there. LA Chargers are a surprising team that everybody kind of forgets about, so he could be pretty good. Kyle Pitts Sr., honestly, he could be insanely good, but fooled me once, fooled me twice, fooled me 3 times, fooled me 4 times, probably 5 times with Kyle Pitts here. So Tyler Warren, I hear a lot of good stuff. Actually, people say he's going to pop off this week against Miami. But he does have Daniel Jones throwing to him, who's absolute trash, so that's pretty funny. Deebo Samuel, a great flex. He was looking overweight, but he is a special player. Darnell Mooney just came back, so I don't even know if he'll be at 100%. I think he missed a lot of preseason snaps and whatnot, so we'll see what happens. Don't even know who these 2 kickers are, but I mean, they're projected for good points, and they're kickers, so pretty much you can play the matchup. Buffalo, oh yeah, okay. Buffalo, oh okay. Oh wow, Baltimore kicker. Oh okay, so they got rid of the guy who Justin Tucker, the guy who liked to go for massages, special massages, like 180 of them, and a bunch of complaints, same as Deshaun Watson. So they're hanging out together. These 2 defenses, I don't know why you would go with the Houston defense. I feel like the LA Rams with a healthy Matt Stafford are going to dominate. The Seahawks against San Francisco, I mean, that's a low projection. I don't see Sam Darnold being that great. The Seahawks are one team that people say are going to finish 0-16 or 17 or whatever it is, but I guess we'll see. Budda Baker, definitely an amazing safety. Travis Hunter, this is actually a really interesting pick. So this guy can get offensive points and defensive points from the defensive position. So Bullet Club Elite, Alex, might have something really cool going on here, pretty unique. I guess we'll see how that pans out. So here, Franklin, I'm pretty sure was the number one defensive player as far as projected points. So that's a great matchup right there. It's crazy. I mean, if you get 15 points out of this guy and 12 out of that guy, that's a lot of points out of your defensive guys there. And Andrew Van Ginkel, I believe this guy had more sacks than Micah Parsons last year, but it might be someone else I'm thinking about with a super long name like that. So this week, I think that Jaden Daniels could explode. Bo Nix is really underrated in my opinion. Tyreek Hill had 5 babies, just as many in 1 year, the same amount of touchdowns that he caught last year as well, but there's a lot of turmoil in there. He just lost his captain's patch, so we'll see how well he plays. I think that Rennie might win this one just based off Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas alone. And then if Gibbs pops off because Goff can't throw against Green Bay for whatever reason, yeah, he might have the slight edge here. So I'm giving this one to Rennie. 62% projected winner for Boss Bailey, who has won the Swayze in the past and normally puts up a really good team. Baker Mayfield, I'm not sure what to expect. Atlanta's defense is susceptible to the pass, but I believe they have Jesse Bates back there, who shuts down a lot of stuff. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, we'll find out tonight what he can do. He's looking pretty good in preseason, doing some crazy things. Marvin Harrison Jr., I was told to avoid, so and people are trading him away in my other leagues after, I don't know, people just don't believe in him for whatever reason, even though he is the son of one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. Puka Nacua is just, as long as Stafford's healthy, I think he'll be awesome. Mike Evans, 1,000 yards every year, pretty much guaranteed. Had 11 touchdowns last season with that 1,000 yards, so that's a lot of fantasy points. Probably top 5 from wide receivers. Let's see if he can keep it up. Cortland Sutton has Bo Nix throwing to him, who can literally just flick of his wrist throw about 60-yard bombs. Just bullets all over the field. And speaking of bullets, Ricky Pearsall, the guy who got shot and started the season on IR, about to make like his full season debut. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, he could be pretty good. I think Ayuk's out for a bit, so that's not a bad choice. Tatoria McMillan with the exit of Adam Thielen is supposed to be pretty good. I don't know too much about him, but honestly, fantasy football is all about opportunity, and I think he'll actually be the number one, and he was a fairly high draft pick. Bucky Irving, a great running back that I wish I had on my team, but obviously he went pretty high in the draft. He'll be putting up some money or some numbers for sure against Atlanta. Ashton Genty, I don't know how I feel about rookies. Apparently the O-line's not doing too well in Las Vegas, but the kid has a lot of talent, so he could explode. Chase Brown, I really like. He's from Canada, and he was high up on a lot of people's draft boards. So that is somebody who's going to get a ton of carries on an explosive offense that I'm banking on. RJ Harvey right now is the second string running back, so we'll have to see, because a lot of people are saying J.K. Dobbins is going to take over that backfield to start. But apparently Sean Payton, the coach, loves to develop rookie running backs, so people are really high on RJ Harvey. Mark Andrews, probably going to be a frustrating guy, but I believe Isaiah Likely is out game 1, so he won't have to compete for targets, which will be great. Tucker Kraft is a sneaky good pick. Cooper Kupp in all the Madden leagues that I simulated finished in the top 2 or 3 as far as receptions, but that's Madden. A lot of people are down on him, but he was, a Triple Crown only 3 years ago, so you can't count him out. James Cook was someone else also I was told to avoid, but he just got a big contract. He's on the high-powered offense, and he is a pretty good running back, so we'll see what happens. As for the kickers, pretty even right there. Baltimore defense, okay, so Baltimore defense, they actually have a really good defense, but Buffalo is a special team, so I guess we'll see what happens there. And Denver, I would say, is one of the top defenses as well. Tennessee has a rookie quarterback. We'll see how that one goes. And, okay, well, that would make sense why the projection's off a little bit. He doesn't even have anybody in his linebacker spot, so somebody call Steven and let him know. Pick up somebody and throw him in there. Fred Warner, tackle machine, a great pass coverage specialist. He could get a pick 6. Caden Ellis, I don't know too much about, but he's projected to get more points than Jaquan Brisker, so something's got to happen here, buddy, or else you're going to get your ass kicked. Alrighty, Mickey, and Taylor Swift, fast as fuck. So Brandon, I believe, is new to the league. Brock Purdy versus Josh Allen. Obviously give the edge to Josh Allen. He can do a lot with his feet. In our league, though, you do get 6 points for touchdown passes instead of 4, and a lot of other leagues, so the quarterbacks do play a pretty large role. The rushing yards, that'll get you some extra points. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the guy caught 400 passes a day for the last 18 years. Pretty much unstoppable. We've got Nico Collins, the number one over there, and he probably went top 5 as far as receivers, and that's probably because of his ability and also opportunity. Malik Neighbors and Lad McConkey, so this is a really good receiving core right here. Lad McConkey is kind of the Wes Welker, the new Wes Welker of the NFL, or I guess Julian Edelman. He's out there making plays. He's explosive, making crazy cuts. Definitely awesome. Juwan Jennings, big question mark on who's going to kind of take over as number 2 over there between him and Pearsall. Terry McLaurin, not my favorite pick, but somehow he's pretty fast and he's pretty good at catching, so he shows up every season. Jonathan Taylor is definitely a lot better than David Montgomery and Jordan Mason, who I believe are both second string picks here, so it's going to be a little tough. I guess he blew his wad on 3 wide receivers here who are awesome. But Pacheco could explode tonight, according to a lot of experts that I've been seeing. They both have great tight ends. I found that George Kittle was hit or miss whenever he was on my team. 3 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, or 3 catches for 20 yards and no touchdowns. Hawkinson kind of went under the radar because he's been injured the last little bit. Devontae Smith kind of failed you out there, but the Dallas defense actually did a lot better than I thought they would. Aaron Jones Sr., so this will be interesting to see that dynamic because this is the starter, this is the backup. So let's see what happens. Fairbairn, a really good kicker. Lutz on a team I think is going to put up a lot of points. Washington against New York. Washington has Dan Quinn, a defensive-minded coach, so their defense normally does really well. And Buffalo against Baltimore, it'll be tough to keep Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry down. So I think I give the edge to Washington for sure. Micah Parsons, they said they're going to give him back injections to play, so he'll be in some discomfort. So we'll see what he does, but I normally don't go with defensive ends and bank on sacks. I'm more of a tackles kind of guy because it's a point per tackle, and if they get a sack, that's awesome. TJ Watt, the same. So defensive ends, pass rushers, they'll get you some sacks, and that's when you'll see when they get like 8 or 9 points, but they don't get too many tackles. So with Nick Bolton flying around, he gets a ton of tackles. Logan Wilson as well. The edge is over here. As far as who I think is going to win, I think Josh Allen and Amon-Ra St. Brown are going to explode, so I will give the edge to Tricky Mickey. The Rams started Dak Prescott. I'm so happy I didn't have him on my team, but honestly, if CeeDee Lamb would have caught 3 or 4 of those catches, which were easy catches, this could be 200 yards, and this could easily be 250. Lamar Jackson, though, is a beast, so I took him in one of my leagues as my first quarterback overall, but obviously I stacked in this league. 40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions last year. That's ridiculous. And like almost another 1,000 yards rushing and 4,000 yards passing. That's going to be insane for a league where the QB actually amounts for a lot of the points. Metcalf is a big question mark for me, but maybe we'll see. Aaron Rodgers wants to come back. He is Aaron Rodgers. He's 2-time MVP, back-to-back MVP, and that was only 3 years ago. Xavier Worthy is the number 1 there with Rashee Rice out, and I think there's going to be a lot of points scored tonight, so that's actually a really good pick to have in there. JSN and Cooper Kupp competing for targets is going to be a little interesting over there, so I would take Worthy over JSN in my opinion, but he has Higgins here as well, and if Chase is getting a lot of double coverage, then Higgins will explode. Olave, he's had 4 concussions in the last 2 years. So the projected's kind of low. He's the number 1 out there. I know Miko didn't want him because he had a big question mark on his head, which is fair. But let's move down to Bijan Robinson. So obviously the number 1 running back. Devon Achane was someone I was told to stay away from because of a calf injury, which can actually lead to an Achilles tear if your calf's kind of weak. And he's so explosive that I would be worried if he doesn't heal that. There's no designation right now, but if he doesn't let that heal, he could be he could be out for the season. And that's why I think Taylor was freaking out about Ollie. People have Ollie really high though on their this weekly draft, but it's weird he doesn't have a designation. It could just be something that they're going to manage. I don't think he's going to get 14 points. Tyrone Tracy could lose the starting job to Scatbo, but he missed a lot of preseason reps, so I think Tyrone Tracy will get a lot of the workload to start this game. I'm not sure how well he'll fare against Washington. James Conner is Mr. Reliable. He always misses at least 2 to 3 games a season, but he seems healthy to start. Dallas Goedert kind of hit his projected there. Brock Bowers, obviously way better than Dallas Goedert, so I think he set the rookie record for receptions, which is crazy. And Trey McBride was right behind him in that race as well. Jerry Jeudy, sneaky good with Joe Flacco, gonna throw for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So that's pretty good there. Travis Etienne could lose his job any day to Tank Bigsby. Brandon Aubrey, I think, is the best kicker in the league, and he kind of proved that by getting you 11 points, which is a lot of points for a week. Jake Bates, I don't know much about him. Chicago, not the greatest team in my opinion, so Minnesota might have a field day, beating up Caleb Williams. And then we have the Chiefs at the Chargers, so this will be one we can watch tonight. I don't know too much about defensive ends. I'm sure Bosa will get some points, but like I said, I like linebackers who can get a lot of tackles. Edwin Cooper, don't know much about him, but if Parsons is out there, that'll free him up for making those tackles. Kyle Hamilton just got a contract extension, so he's feeling pretty good, centering that safety position on a really good Baltimore defense. And then Jordan Brooks was released by they didn't pick up his option in Seattle, and Miami picked him up where he's going to get a ton of opportunity for a ton of tackles. I think this guy could go for like 10 or 11 points easy. Who's going to win? I would say, it's a tough one. I mean, if Dak Prescott had a little bit better of a game, it would have gone to Rams. He's still favored, but with Lamar Jackson and Xavier Worthy and Robinson and Bowers, I think Zach Sparrow might have a slight edge in this one. And last but not least, we have the Oracles versus Brad's B Squad. This is Brad's second year in the league, and he goes probably like 15th or maybe 13th in the league. He's a past winner as well. Jalen Hurts with the 2 rushing touchdowns definitely helped a lot, especially when you only pass for 152 yards, but that's what the Eagles do. AJ Brown, where the heck was AJ Brown? 1 catch, 8 reception yards. Yeah, that's gonna make things a little tough, so Brad is favored right now. Kyler Murray is gonna run around like a crazy person. No injury designation on Justin Jefferson, so if he outperforms AJ Brown, which is gonna happen for sure, Kyler Murray does his thing against New Orleans, which is a really weak team that's supposed to go winless. According to the experts, there's definitely a discrepancy here where Brad's B Squad might pick up the win just based off that. Chris Godwin's out, so Egbuka could shine. Matthew Golden is another sneaky pick that people are going crazy about. They have 2 injured receivers out in the Packers, so he's going to get his chance to shine, which will be awesome. And Jacoby Myers, so Cooper just retired. Waddle, I'm not too high on. I was told to avoid. But Jacoby Myers' stock is going up. He's on a shitty team, but he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Even if he scores 1 touchdown, that's all you really need. Derrick Henry versus Josh Jacobs, pretty even here. Lamar Jackson, he eats up a lot of carries, but Henry is literally unstoppable, so that's a great pick there. Josh Jacobs is going to get a lot of opportunities against a tough Detroit team that has Aiden Hutchinson back, so we'll see what happens there. Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, I was told to avoid both of these guys on a lot of the things that I saw, but they are the starters out there. Breece Hall was amazing, but apparently he's been dropping off. He dropped off in the last 6 games of the season last year, so that's why they said avoid him. Plus, there's a super fast running back, I forget the name, Braylon Allen, I think, behind him, who could eat up some carries as well. Kenneth Walker also has Charbonneau behind him, so these two could end up being second string. Travis Kelce, obviously he's excited to start the season. Apparently he didn't know where Brazil was, and then he made a Kermit voice. to mock Patrick Mahomes for making him look like a fool. Trey McBride, obviously at 1 and 2 with him and Brock Bowers as far as the best tight ends out there for drafting. So there's a bit of an advantage there. Trayvon Henderson, I don't know anything about, but people have been hyping him up in the start and sit column. DeAndre Swift's going to get a lot of opportunity. He's back with his old offensive coordinator as head coach, so he might pop off. Dicker the kicker in the top, as kickers go, in the top maybe 5, I would say, in the draft. So he'll put up some points. Hopefully, KC's defense will probably stop him at the 20 a bunch of times, so that's a good pick there. Cincinnati's going to be putting up a lot of points. Pittsburgh against the Jets. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Aaron Rodgers' revenge game, and the Jets obviously want to destroy Rodgers, so we will see what happens there. So it's going to be tough on the defense, but they have TJ Watt, a ton of great players out there as well. Detroit against Green Bay. That's a tough one as well because they're at Green Bay, but there's no snow or anything yet, so Robert Spillane was pretty high up there. And the tackles, Bobby Okereke is a great linebacker on a great defense, actually. And the defensive line of New York is supposed to be insane. I don't know who Alex Singleton is, but I do know who the Denver Broncos are, and their defense is amazing. And then Foye side, Aluakon is a tackle machine. So a ton of points to be had there. Jalen Hurts, so this will be a close one, but I'd have to give the edge to Brad. But all in all, who knows what's going to happen? That's why whenever people ask me how I feel about my team, I tell them that I don't know until week 1 is done, because anything can happen in the NFL. Someone might spit on somebody and get ejected and leave the whole center of the field open for running. And then the Cowboys decide to not run, even though their receivers are dropping the ball. So that was a tough loss. But things are looking good. So we got the draft done. Week 1 started. The schedule's been made. Watch those waiver wire pickups. Somebody's going to get screwed. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Charlie and the Rams. But after, about 10 years of dealing with that, I've come to a place where I can manage my team and under the handicap cap that we have. But other than that, things are looking pretty good. We got everything done. We put together a nice league. Get your fees in, fools, so I can get paid at the end of the season. And I'll see you guys on the